welcome to another episode of A Dose of Reality. I'm your host, Kid ISO, and to my right is the great Blake Still.
What's going on, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright.
Before we really get into it, I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners, all of our YouTube watchers. We just had our first 1,000 view episode. I want to say thank you to Trevor Blake.
Yeah,
he
thank
came
you.
through. He killed it. And let's do a round of applause for everybody who listened, subscribed.
Much love.
We really do appreciate all of the fans and family and friends that supported us. And, it's a really big occasion for us. We celebrated. We really appreciated it. And obviously want to say thank you to you all and all our listeners, because without you all, there would be no Dose of Reality. So thank you for that.
Especially for taking the time to subscribe and like.
Absolutely.
Definitely means a lot.
Absolutely. And another shout out to Trevor Blake. It was a great interview. We had such a great time, and we really appreciate him coming out.
Absolutely.
And doing his thing and talking, and it was awesome. So thank you for that, Trevor. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So we both have been kind of on a diet of sorts, if you want to say. And I will let you talk about what you've been refraining from, and then I'll talk about mine. So go ahead, brother.
Okay, man. So for the last couple months since the first episode started, I have recently stopped smoking weed. And so now we're looking at
about 2 months.
About 2 months now. So we're going on the this is going to be the 8th episode. So yeah, it definitely would be about 2 months. And I just want to say, for anybody out there that thinks they need to make a little change in their life, do it. Feels great. It absolutely feels great. I'm not saying that smoking was necessarily my downfall. I just feel like I abused actually smoking itself. And
I feel like you were giving it a little bit more energy than it deserved.
Absolutely. So, I'm on my journey now, and that's definitely the route that I'm going to take. I'm never going to say that I'm not going to smoke again, but it's definitely going to be a very long time, more than tolerance break. And it's done really well for me, honestly. I've been able to put more energy into things that I care about, like my daughter, this podcast, and obviously that was the first thing I said, but it's not like I was neglecting time with my daughter. It was just
absolutely.
There's a difference between being present and being mentally present.
Absolutely.
And that's really important. So anybody that is out there that feels like they just need to take a break, do it. Because it's not going to harm you any. You have nothing but time, as we learned from this last episode. So that's just something that I wanted to announce. And I have all the subscribers, likers, and people viewing these episodes to, keep me on my toes, man.
Well, for me, I love women. And sometimes I love women a little bit too much. So I've decided that I'm a born-again version.
Let's give a round of applause to that very, very, very arrogant statement.
Oh, yeah. All my bodies from before do not count.
No.
Okay, I'm starting off from
Mary.
0. I am officially a virgin again.
Reborn, like the Jonas Brothers almost, right? Like a
absolutely.
purity ring and everything.
I don't have a purity ring, but I got a purity eyebrow piercing.
This is new.
So yeah, I'm celibate now. I will not be indulging in any sexual activities until I get married.
It's you and Paul Manetta, huh?
Oh, me and Paul Manetta are in a long-term relationship, and I will not neglect her for anybody. I'm faithful.
Hey, that's okay, man. That's okay.
Absolutely faithful. So yeah, man. It's like being a born-again Christian, except I'm a born-again virgin, It's like I'm pure and clean again, So when I take myself a wife, she can be like, how many bodies you have? And I'll be like, 0.
Well, one, technically. Because it would be your wife.
Absolutely, that would be my first body ever. So it's just gonna be nice to be re-indoctrinated as a virgin. I'm just so happy. This is a new journey, and abstinence. I want to tell all our listeners out there, abstinence is just the best policy. You stay away, from sex out of wedlock and see what your life can do,
So I have a follow-up question for that statement.
Absolutely.
You feel like you can get more done now?
Oh, absolutely.
And what is your distraction method?
What do you mean, distraction method?
I mean, exactly what I said. What is your distraction method? I mean, you see females, you don't want to pursue that. I mean...
Oh, I just, start doing push-ups.
Push-ups.
They're not gonna... if you're a bad bitch, and a random guy just, would normally talk to you and just starts doing push-ups randomly, you're just gonna walk by him because you're gonna think he's crazy. So that's what I do.
You're just gonna do push-ups?
Absolutely. In the middle of the club, just start fucking 1, 2, 3. Yeah, going crazy.
So by this time next month, if your chest is not getting bigger, if you're not getting,
Oh, that meant that I failed at being a virgin again.
So you failed at being a virgin,
yeah.
And that's why now
you're
just rebirthing yourself.
Rebirthing myself as a virgin, yeah.
Hey, man, let's get another round of applause for Kid ISO, man, because that takes promise and skill.
Yeah. No more, I cannot allow these harlots out here to take away my innocence, I understand. I'm saving myself for marriage.
Yeah, pure.
Purity.
Absolutely pure.
There we go.
I think a great segue to that would be what's going on with Johnny Depp and,
Amber Heard?
Absolutely.
Well, can you give us a quick little rundown of what's going on, buddy?
So this has been going on for, I believe, 2016, 2017, right around the time that the Me Too movement had started. And with this case, it's been a lot of negative reflection on Johnny Depp, and now it's just coming out to be a negative reflection on Amber Heard. I believe, I'm not going to quote the year, so I'm not wrong. I don't like being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny Depp tried suing the Sun's newspaper because of somebody that negatively pretty much insinuated that he was a wife beater.
Right.
So he said, you know what, this is ridiculous, and this is after he already gave Amber Heard a large sum of money, I think about $7 million, which she was very reluctant to say that she was going to donate half to this charity and donate half to another charity, but then ended up coming out now in this new present case of Johnny Depp suing her, of course, for, I always get that word mixed up.
Defamation of character?
Defamation of character. So it had come out that she had not donated any of that money that was given to her, or if she did, it was very low percentage, not enough to even count, I guess, and she had reasonings behind it, I'm sure. But now we are in the place of Johnny Depp is now suing her for defamation of character, and this is the case that's been going on. The media has been covering it fully, so I'm sure everybody has been listening, or if they haven't been listening, have at least heard about it. And now the discussion is, obviously we all know that you are guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
Every court of law in every state, there is no innocence until proven guilty. As of now, it's been like that since the dawn of time.
And real quick, didn't he have like some hiccups in his career because of some of these things that were said about him?
He was canceled. There was no hiccups. He was canceled. He was canceled for apparently the accusations of assault on Amber Heard.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that goes back into the whole cancel culture discussion that we talked about in episode 2, I think.
Yeah, episode 2. And that's unfortunate because as I've been hearing some of the I've watched a few of the bits and pieces of the trial and things, videos on the trial and stuff, and it really seems like that even if possibly he abused her, she was very much physically abusive as well. I know I watched a clip where they were kind of had a recording of an argument, and she blatantly said, like, yeah, I didn't punch you, but I was hitting you.
Well, there was evidence that came out stating that one in particular, he had gotten into an argument with her, and this as well, he was on the stand, obviously, got into an argument with her, and, well, obviously not in court, but he was on the stand sharing this information, and she had exclaimed that she had gotten punched in the nose, so she had, walked away, tissue on her face, thrown the tissue in the garbage. He had picked the tissue up, and it was nail polish.
Wow. So that's really interesting, and I say that because that is worse for the people who really are going through abusive relationships and tell the truth about it. Things like that are more detrimental to the Me Too movement.
The cause.
Than to the cause, then, because you're sitting here lying. Now people are gonna, when somebody actually comes forward with truth, they're gonna question that, and that shouldn't be questioned. You know what I mean? Like, it's really a dark subject sometimes, because yes, obviously we know that abuse happens, and there's some lame dudes who put their hands on women, and I don't condone that whatsoever. But I also don't condone somebody lying and saying that somebody put their hands on them and they didn't, because that just ruins somebody's reputation, And whenever I think of somebody putting their hands on a woman, I think of you as a lame.
Yeah,
like, you're not cool.
What shows the accountability in that too? Because he was canceled just by a statement.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, I don't even think that there was obviously they got divorced. Their relationship declined because of that. But what gave grounds, just because of this Me Too movement, I mean, sincerely, what gave grounds to completely eliminate Johnny Depp's career, even though he was the only thing holding Pirates of the Caribbean together? Yeah. To just totally ruin somebody's career based off of a statement. And we talked about this previously, that if somebody believes their own truth, then are they lying? But then it goes hand in hand with what is actually the fact.
Right.
And there was even another thing that was mentioned that I'd like to touch upon, is that she defecated in their bed.
Wow.
So somebody actually got mad enough to take a shit in their bed. Wow. On his side of the bed.
Right. And
he had said on stand something about she had blamed it on the dog after she did that when they got into a fight, and his comment was hysterical, because he was like, listen, lady, I've lived with my dogs. I've picked up after my dogs for years. And that was not dog feces.
Right. And you know what's unfortunate about the whole situation is that, like, this is why we had the conversation a few episodes ago about not staying in toxic relationships. Because this is ruining, this ruined this man's career. And if he was smart, once the toxicity started, he would have exited stage left. But no, he stayed in that situation and allowed the situation to get worse and worse and worse and worse, until now, not only is his career, changed forever by this,
right,
but now he has to go in court. And if you watch any of the videos of him talking about his ex and about Amber Heard, like, you can tell that he still
cares about
her.
Yeah,
because
he doesn't
want to sit there and like crap on her. And it's unfortunate, because when he has to tell the truth about certain things, like, he's so hesitant about it, because obviously he still cares for this young lady.
And it's embarrassing.
And it's very embarrassing, and it's like, that's unfortunate. This is why you should stay out of toxic relationships. And these are the reasons why, if someone isn't treating you the way you feel like you should be treated, You have to leave.
Just putting myself in an empathetic position. When you're involved with somebody or somebody that's not, and you are the person that is bringing in most of the money in a relationship where it's either one-sided or whatever the case may be, it's not just as easy to say, you know what, we're done. And I don't mean that in a way of the relationship is over, because I'm sure the relationship was over way before the relationship was over and the marriage was over. I mean, in a position like that, like you said previously, anybody can say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, women hold a lot of power. And I'm not saying that if it actually is happening, that it's discredited, but because of the minority and the small percentage of the people that are doing things like this, if this is the case, then it would be kind of hard to just break off the relationship. Like I mentioned before, he gave her $7 million. I don't know what court case in any kind of divorce somebody would just give the other party that much money. I mean, that was a privilege in a sense.
Absolutely.
So for it to go further than that, and not only that, for Johnny Depp to lose the lawsuit against somebody that was insinuating that he was a wife beater without prior knowledge, besides just one statement from one person. I heard a quote from Johnny Depp's lawyer, or the legal team that was representing him, stating that in the 5 decades, and that's literally what he said, the 5 decades, which is a long time. There has never been a statement, there has never been a comment on Johnny Depp abusing anybody. And now one statement comes out from a personal opinion, and as we know of cognitive behavior, somebody has an emotion, has thoughts behind that emotion, and then projects an action. So because of emotional thinking, if this is the case, that ruined his career.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate because, one, as men, sometimes we feel like we have to when we're in a relationship with somebody and they're dependent on us, even though they're an adult, we feel like I'm obligated to still take care of you. And that's not the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you're not obligated. And truthfully, he wouldn't even be in this situation if at some point he just decided, I'm not going to take any more abuse. Like, you don't have to take that just because you're a man. You don't have to take abuse, because let's be clear, like, abuse happens both ways, and that's never talked about.
Right.
Like, and abuse in all forms happen both ways. You know what I mean? If a young lady, you're hanging out and she's, gets you to a point where you're not cognitive enough to say, yes, I want to have intercourse, and you all have intercourse anyway, as much as that would be bad for a man to do that, that's just as bad for a woman to do that. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of men who have had that happen to them, and they won't say anything because you can't say anything. You try to go to a police station and say, a young lady, took advantage of me. They're going to laugh at you. Yeah. This is exactly what's going to happen. And it's just unfortunate that in this climate, there isn't any accountability sometimes on that side for abuse. And I'm like, just the mention that Johnny Depp was a wife beater ruined his career. But there's nothing like that on the other side, because he was abused. The lady admitted in court. There's a recording of her admitting in court that she put her hands on him. And in no shape, way, or form, no matter if it's a woman putting her hands on a man or a man putting his hands on a woman, in a relationship, there should never be anybody putting their hands on anybody else. If you get to that point where you're that upset at that other person, then you need to exit and stop that confrontation at that point, leave, and try to figure that out when you're both not upset. Because it's never okay for anybody to put their hands on their significant other.
I think this is an amazing situation to kind of reflect the fact that, I think I just lost my point. No, I did not lose my point. In any regard, let's start rattling shit off now. If somebody murders somebody, there has to be a body. If there's an induced homicide, there has to be proof that this person was the one that did this.
Absolutely.
If there was a case where somebody was physically assaulted, that person that was physically assaulted has to prove that this person, by third party, was physically assaulted. What gives the grounds of police officers to make a report based off of somebody's word? And especially if it's one-sided. So if I said, Aaron, you beat the shit out of me, but I had no proof that you beat the shit out of me, guess what? These police officers are going to laugh at me and say that you need proof behind this.
Absolutely.
So based off of somebody's word, I think personally that there should be substantial evidence in any case where somebody would say something in any regard. And that's woman on man, man on woman, woman on woman, man on man, doesn't fucking matter. I think that there should be physical evidence that something like this has happened previously or in that moment for there to even be charges pressed on somebody. Because clearly it shows what it has done to people's lives.
Absolutely. And I mean, to even, piggyback off that, it's just, as a society, we're so quick to just say, oh, screw that person.
It's ridiculous.
It's just so fast. It doesn't matter. And if you don't say screw that person, I'm gonna wait for actual proof. People try to cancel you for that. People are like, oh no, you're what? What do you mean? No, but you don't have the proof. You weren't there to see what happened. And it's just unfortunate because this is somebody's life. We're all human. That man acts to make a living for himself. And now maybe he's well off. Maybe right now he never needs to act in another movie again.
Yeah, but let's be serious right now. With all these court cases, I don't think he's well off.
But even still, even if he was or wasn't, that doesn't matter. To take somebody's livelihood away from them just because of an accusation that doesn't have any proof behind it yet. Now, if there's proof behind it, I'm 1000% against anybody putting their hands on somebody or taking advantage of somebody. Absolutely. But before there's proof, you can't just cancel somebody and take away their livelihood.
Yeah, I don't even think there was a third party in that situation. It was just first party.
It's unfortunate. And honestly, if you're caught lying about that, I feel as though you should have to do some time. You should get charged with something. That's not okay.
Go ahead.
Because here's why. Because what about the people who are actually getting abused? Right? What about the people who are actually in abusive relationships? What about the people who are actually got sexually abused by somebody? But you have all these people who lie to the point where I'm skeptical off jump if somebody says something.
Right.
And that shouldn't be. More people, the people who are actually, and that's the messed up part about it. The people who actually do get abused are so scared to come forth because they think that people think they're lying because all of these times where people lied.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. You're even if, let's say they find out that the case ends and they're like, oh, well, we're siding with Johnny Depp. He actually didn't do anything, right? Can he get that money back that he lost? No. Absolutely. That other person just goes on about their life. He still lives with the fact that I got kicked out of this, that, and the other. I lost out on however many thousands of dollars. because somebody lied.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
No.
How many people have done time because somebody lied? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
And the person who lies it's fine. They get away with it. It's all good. And that's just not okay. And I just feel as though if you lie and you get found out that you lied about this certain thing, you should have to do some time as well.
I think definitely there should be charges pressed on somebody that's going to make false accusations on someone else, especially if this has been since 2016. Now we're looking on, 6 years? I mean, that's a long time for somebody to be going through a gruesome lawsuit, essentially, because, I mean, Absolutely. It started off, and this is multiple lawsuits as well, especially in this situation, and in any situation.
And how many thousands of dollars has he spent on lawyers? And
you think thousands of dollars? I think millions of dollars, bro.
Millions.
I think he spent millions of dollars, including the millions of dollars that he gave to Amber Heard specifically, that was supposed to. I mean, that should be something that I feel like isn't even brought up enough, and I'm sure it was brought up in the case, but I think that, I mean, how to reflect on her character as a person. Why would you publicly announce that you're going to give this money that was given to you to charity if you're not going to do that?
Right.
No, sincerely, I think that should reflect on her word. I think that should reflect on her character. If you're going to lie to the public, what is that saying during a case like this?
Yeah.
What is that saying about you as a person?
And truthfully, like, let's keep it a buck, right? We don't know what happened.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I'm not leaning towards Johnny Depp. I'm not leaning towards Amber Heard because Kid Iso was not there.
Right.
Absolutely. But what I can say is, I don't think it's right for someone to get canceled for something that somebody said.
Yeah. I don't think anybody getting in trouble
for somebody
for words.
For words.
Point.
Because there's no proof.
There has to be
Now,
proof.
when there's proof, for example, right? The reason why nobody went to bat for R. Kelly is because there was proof.
Yeah.
Dude is a nasty bum. And where he's at, he deserves to be. And I'm glad he's there.
That reminds me of that Boondocks episode. Where, I don't know if anybody's seen that Boondocks episode. Where literally, and I'm touch upon this real quick. No pun intended. She had come on, and this girl had come on. What was she, like 13, 14 years old?
On the stand.
On the stand, yeah. She was in the episode, and she was like,
if I
well, no, she said if I didn't want R. Kelly to piss on me, then I would have moved out the way. But see, and then that was supposed to be funny and whatnot. Yeah, but that's not funny.
But at the same time, that man was doing that. Like, it was on camera that he peed on an underage girl.
Yeah, which is wrong.
And like, bro, there is no sort of argument for that.
Right.
You're a nasty pedophile and you're dirty.
But was that based off a word though? No. There was footage of something like that.
Him doing
I think
that.
the only footage that I saw in this situation, again, not taking sides, but the only footage I saw in this situation was Johnny Depp getting extremely upset because of the fact that it said previously his mom had just died that day, so he was closing cabinets harshly. I think he broke a glass or something. Whatever the situation is, he poured big glass of wine. There was no abuse in that video. And she was laughing in that video as well.
Right. And it's just unfortunate because, again, we don't really know what really happened. And all we can go on is,
But the media is covering it now.
But the media is covering it. So hopefully soon we will have an outcome to this case. And once we have that outcome, we can make our final judgments on, how we feel about everything.
Right. And I mean, not only that, but when it comes down to it, I hope that the truth comes out.
Absolutely.
Too many people have been wrongfully convicted.
Absolutely. Well, let us take a little break.
Yeah, we'll take a little break now.
We'll come right back.
I saw beauty in her pain. So I just had to make it rain. She's a starry girl, her vibing out of space. Angel on the pole,
back at A Dose of Reality, and a couple weeks ago, I had started a segment on Dose of Reality, and it's called Celebrities Say Dumb Shit.
The dumbest.
So, today's candidate is a candidate who said something dumb about a month ago, but because it was so stupid, I wanted to bring it back.
Okay, we're gonna give him a round of applause.
Oh, of course, Mr. Elon Musk. Wow. So Mr. Elon Musk said on Twitter, I hereby challenge Vladimir Putin to single combat. Stakes are Ukraine. Come on, bruh. Like, you're supposed to be a motherfucking genius, bro. You're supposed to be telling me that, you know, the Tesla is the best car ever and all this good shit.
And our mission to Mars.
And our mission to Mars.
And the AI.
And you're talking about you're going to challenge Vladimir Putin on motherfucking Twitter. I mean, bruh, how smart are you really, man? Let's keep it a bean. I mean, I don't think that your street smarts, your social skills are up to par where they should be. I actually love you, Elon Musk.
When it comes to that, though. When it comes specifically to that.
Specifically that, because I really like Elon Musk. He smoked a joint for the first time on Joe Rogan and all that good shit. And the Tesla looks like a good car, especially with these fucking gas prices.
Yeah.
But damn, cuz
you've been awarded now.
You have a new award. So shout out to Elon Musk. He celebrity that said something stupid.
Jesus.
So, I want to get into our next little topic.
Are we going to start off with Tyson? We're going to start off with your boy?
I'm going to start off with Kyrie. So, I would like to say about a week or two ago, it was Game 1, Celtics versus Nets. Kyrie Irving, basketball superstar, drops 39 points in a loss and is seen flicking off the fans. And apparently after the initial the game and everything, and they're having a press conference, he said that the fans were calling him the P word, they were calling him the B word, and they were telling him F you. And he said, well, I'm going to respond to them. And he responded by, hitting clutch shots and flicking them off.
Did he get fined for that?
$50,000. $50,000 he got fined.
Wait. So he got fined $50,000 for that, and LeBron got fined $10,000 for doing the whole ball grabbing thing?
I think so. I think it was $10,000.
You said I thought you said it was $10,000.
I believe it was $10K for grabbing his balls. Yeah. Mm. But yeah, and I think he got fined $50,000 because this isn't his first time
flicking off the fans, flipping off whatever.
And I don't know if it was in flicking off the fans that he got fined at first, but I believe it was him saying something to the fans. He also told a fan was telling him that he sucked, and he told the fan to suck his penis, and he called him the B word as well. So I just thought that was funny because I truthfully am more on Kyrie's side, where it's like certain things, like it's not like fans are saying, ooh, boo, you suck. It's more of they're calling him out of his name. They're calling him, P's and B's, and that's if somebody just walked up to you and called that to you, that's
fighting words, bro.
Those are fighting words. Absolutely. And we don't want another Malice in the Palace situation.
Yeah, this is true. As we're opening this up for discussion, I personally think that he was definitely not in the wrong, and now the discussion is, where does the line draw? Because he's a professional, he's not allowed to retaliate to how aggressive fans are getting. I mean, sincerely, because if you want to take a note from the Raiders, I don't know if you've ever been to a Raiders game. I personally haven't. Well, because anytime somebody is supporting anybody but the Raiders on the Raiders field, they're getting their ass whooped. This is true. Have you not seen a Raiders game?
Absolutely. That's exactly.
And I'm not saying all criminals are in the audience, but
yeah. No, and it just goes like, where does the line? Where do fans cross the line? Because it's different saying boo, you're not any good, you stink. That's different. You're allowed to boo when you buy a ticket. But when you start calling people out of their names, like the P word and the B word, you see I'm not even saying those two words because of how those are like real fighting words. Like, you can't just call somebody that and expect it to be all good. And it's just no respect for the athlete. I mean, and especially like in a sport like a basketball, because one, you're so close to the court. When you buy a ticket and you buy one of the good tickets, you're a few rows away. These athletes can hear exactly what you're saying to them, so of course they can respond as well. I think there was last year in the playoffs, there was an incident in Madison Square Garden where a fan spit on Trae Young, a superstar, threw popcorn, on somebody's head. I believe it was, I don't remember who exactly it was, but during the playoffs, somebody tried to dump popcorn on somebody. So it's getting way out of hand. And just because someone is a celebrity, a professional, that doesn't mean that they're not human.
Why are these athletes held to a higher standard? Because the NBA says so? Or, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Because, I mean, if anybody, like you said, was called something like that on the street, unless they're a peon, somebody's fighting.
Absolutely.
So why are these athletes now all of a sudden held to a higher standard? I think that should be controlled in the stands. I mean, if you're going to buy a ticket to see these people, if you're going to spend your hard-earned money to go see these people and see this team or see this performer or however you want to put it, there's no reason to be sitting there talking trash.
Absolutely.
Unless you're trying to do something about it.
I would like to read this. This is from the NBA.com site, and this is the NBA Fan Code of Conduct.
Okay.
So I'm going to just read a little bit of this so we can understand what the NBA feels like is okay. The National Basketball Association seeks to foster a safe, comfortable, and enjoyable sports and entertainment experience in which players and fans respect and appreciate each other. Guests will be treated in a professional and courteous manner by all arena and team personnel. Guests will enjoy the basketball experience free from disruptive behavior, including foul or abusive language and obscene gestures. Guests will consume alcoholic beverages in a responsible manner. Intervention with an impaired, intoxicated, or underage guest will be handled in a prompt and safe manner. And guests will only sit in their ticketed seats and show their tickets when asked.
So now the question bears, NBA, why does this not affect the fans? And it's only affecting the athletes.
Absolutely.
So you're finding the athletes, but you're not handling the fans.
And and I mean, again, like, maybe sometimes they get thrown out. That happens sometimes. But a lot of times it doesn't. And think about this, right? Like I said, we don't want another Malice in the Palace situation. But the Malice in the Palace, somebody threw a beer on a player who had just gotten into an altercation with another player, right? And they threw a beer, the player ran up in the stands, and it was whole pandemonium. It was a whole fight. It was terrible. It was a black spot on the league. Well, truthfully, I think that the NBA has to do a better job of protecting their players, because they do protect the fans.
Okay.
Because there ain't no player that's in the NBA right now that's going to jump in the stands and actually do something. The most they're going to do is tell a referee to tell security and kick somebody out. But at the same time, like, you get drunk and you start talking crazy to these guys, and there's a certain point where you just don't, there's certain things you don't say, because if you saw Kyrie Irving, 6'3" Kyrie Irving, almost 200-pound Kyrie Irving in the street, I guarantee you're not calling him a P and a B to his face.
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely not. If you see LeBron James, 6'8", 260, muscles popping in your face, I guarantee you're just going to ask for a picture. And it's unfortunate. And you know what it is? Again, it goes back to kind of the beginning of all of this. Social media. People think because they feel like because you're a professional and because you're a celebrity, they're protected. So they talk crazy, knowing that if it was really going on, it'd be effed up.
I think that the real discussion here is, where are the morals being set and where's the line being drawn, and why, as years go on, has this line been fluctuated? Because obviously there's rules.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the NBA set a conduct of rules. And now I feel like some of them are being enforced by situation. But I mean, when it comes down to now the player is, or the performer is getting fed up with the situation and they react to it just on impulse or emotion base or cognitive base, then they're the one being fined thousands of dollars when in reality this could be handled before it even happens.
Yeah. And then like, I
understand the fact that, like, okay, if a bunch of people are yelling that shit, you just can't kick everybody out of the stadium.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you are familiar, but there was a situation at the Yankees game a few days ago where a bunch of fans started throwing like beer cans and everything at Cleveland Indians fans or players.
Okay.
So on basically my question is, what do you do when you have a whole group of fans, right, that are doing that rather than just one that's antagonizing Kyrie Irving? What happens when you have 20, 25 fans?
Right, and that's
what I'm asking y'all.
Yeah, but that's right where I was going into, is that I understand the fact that, okay, if you have a group of people, you can't just kick them all out. I mean,
yes, you can.
Yes, but I mean, is that going to be a detriment to the NBA? Or is that going to be a detriment to the
MLB?
MLB?
No, because they already paid their ticket. They're not getting no refund for that.
Right.
So they made their money already.
Right.
And there has to be a standard, right? Because just because you are a fan doesn't mean you get to do whatever the
that's what I'm saying.
want.
It's situational at this point now. They're basing it off the situation.
Yeah.
That's what they are as a whole.
But again, here's where I because if somebody has to protect the players, right? And it's on the league, that league, to protect the players, because when you don't protect the players, what happens? They try to protect themselves, and then malice in the palace happens.
Right. But should the players be getting fined for it? Because
yes. And here's why I say yes, right?
Okay.
Because Kyrie Irving and the people should, in a way, I understand why they got fined, right? Because this is how it goes. When you do certain things, you get fined. So again, I'm not going to be upset with them being fined. I respect what Kyrie Irving did, because Kyrie Irving is one of the few players in any of the leagues who actually spoke and said exactly what those people were saying to him that made him react that way. And truthfully, I think this does fall on the leagues, because you have to protect your players, because every arena hires security.
Okay.
Security is gonna make sure people don't run out on the court, and their main objective is really to protect the fans.
So where were they when the situation happened at the you said Yankees?
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium.
Again, I don't know if security necessarily knows what to do in that situation. And really, truthfully, in that situation, when you're throwing things like that and you're being rowdy to that degree, I feel as though, one, you should get kicked out, and two, you should get banned for at least a year.
Yeah.
At least a year.
Yeah.
If not longer, because that cannot be tolerated.
Especially because there's probably, especially if it was like 20, 30 people, I bet you there's 20, 30 people that would have bought that ticket otherwise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The billions of people on this planet.
Exactly. So again, athletes, celebrities, actors, movie stars, podcasters, whoever you think of as a famous person, we are human too. We are all human. And we all deserve human dignity. And, for example, let's say those people working at Walmart.
Okay.
If I went to Walmart and started chucking stuff at them, do you know what would happen?
The police is going to get called on you immediately.
And not only is the police going to get called on me,
Walmart, police getting called.
Police are going to get called, and I'm going to get banned from Walmart. If not all the Walmarts, and I probably ain't going to get banned for a year. I'm probably going to get banned forever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So why don't we have those same things in place for our athletes and our celebrities? That's not cool.
The leagues and the people that are, quote unquote, leagues, the labels, whatever, for anybody or the people that are controlling the actors or whatever, are setting them to a higher standard than the common people. That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
And I feel like this has been progressing a little bit worse since COVID. I mean, I've really never heard of, okay, Malice at the Palace, but I mean, a situation where people are actually getting that abusive towards players, towards actors, towards fighters, towards anybody, or comedians. Exactly. I mean, anybody.
Somebody
with the
we
Will
just
Smith.
watched the whole.
You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Sincerely, where are the morals and where's the line drawn and who is being held accountable besides the person that is? I mean, in this situation, the athlete.
So I want to read this. This is from Keke Palmer.
Okay.
And she recently had an incident. So Keke Palmer wrote on Instagram, "No means no, even when it doesn't pertain to sex. I was at the bar the other day, and the girl asked me 3 times for a picture, and I told her 3 times nicely that I did not want to take one with her. She still proceeded to film me against my will. If I went off on her, I would have been wrong, so I just nervously laughed while my privacy was invaded upon."
And she handled the situation correctly in that sense.
But did she though? Did she really handle the situation correctly? Because
yes, to a media standpoint, because in a media standpoint, she would have been reflected very negatively because of something like that if she would have went off on this person, because the media would have blown it totally out of proportion.
She would have been a mad black woman. And that's BS.
Absolutely, and it would have fit the stereotype.
That's BS, because just because someone is famous doesn't mean they don't have basic human rights. You shouldn't just be filming people, and I just don't like that. Like, it's effed up that we think it's just okay because someone makes more money or more famous that they can just be treated any old kind of way.
And that goes right into the discussion of Mike Tyson beating crap out of, and he didn't even beat the shit out of him. He just pieced him up a few times on the airplane. The guy was videotaping him. The guy was getting in his face. I mean, this was all on video.
Yeah.
And then the last straw was this guy threw a water bottle at him. Okay, first of all, who really has a depleted brain where they have no brain cells to fuck with Mike Tyson? I don't care how old he is. He's still fighting, bro. You not seen an interview of Mike Tyson? This guy takes shrooms. He's
probably in the best. He's
not in the right mind. And yeah, he's probably calmer. Right, but I mean, you think that he's not going to bite your ear off?
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, and it's just, I just don't understand, like, who...
The guy's he's a beast.
Where do these people get off just thinking it's okay to just
They're 5 minutes of fame. They're 5 minutes of fame. This guy would have never made it the news unless, I mean, this guy specifically had a criminal history before, so he did make the news. But I mean, in a sense of a semi-positive way, because now he's having the interaction with somebody that's higher value of him in this moment. 5 minutes of fame, man. People are literally prioritizing this whole 5 minutes of fame thing.
It's BS. And it's unfortunate because, like, this is something that I, and we both, because we're doing this, aspire to be, a public figure, a person who is a celebrity and things of that nature. Iconic. And if somebody says no to a picture or whatever, and my first no, like, that's, and I just don't understand. And, like, this, it goes to a deeper question of what the hell is wrong with our generation where we just think it's okay to treat anybody how the fuck we want to treat them.
And it also goes back to the fact that if it's a pedestrian on a pedestrian, and I mean that in a way of, okay, now this person's not famous, then
totally changes.
There is charges that are going to be present.
Absolutely.
No matter what. And if it's something as serious as rape or assault, if it's something as serious as a physical assault and now this person has caught a battery on another person or anything like that, now we have grounds to actually charge this person. But if it's something against somebody that's a icon in the media figure, I mean, it's, okay, now it has to be the celebrity's fault.
And, like, we just think that it's just okay to just treat people like
it's ridiculous.
Like this. And it's very ridiculous, and watching, one, I have to give it to Kyrie. I truthfully enjoyed him flicking off the Boston.
But I don't even think he did it in a negative way, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't.
He put his hands behind his head.
Oh my gosh, that was you know what I mean.
He didn't even sit there and he didn't flip him off.
I want to frame. I really want to frame that
should be a picture. That should be a picture.
I hope one day I can get a framed picture, a blowout of him.
Well, I'm sure you can too.
With the afro and
I'm sure you can.
Because honestly, and it's funny because we're not going to really talk about sports, but just Kyrie is such a polarizing figure that picture just means so much. He has the fro, the beard. He's fasting for Ramadan right now. He gave them 39, and he has the two middle fingers behind his head.
It was a Colin Kaepernick situation.
It was
when he was kneeling. I think so. It was very. I wouldn't say inspiring, but it was huge.
It was you know what? I think for other athletes and other celebrities, it was inspiring because he understood that he was going to have to pay that fine. Yeah. There was no thought. There was never, when he was doing what he was doing, there was never a thought in his mind that he wasn't going to have to pay that $50,000 because they already had fined him 25. And the fact that not only was he balling, not only did he drop, like he was hitting, like he had 16 in the fourth. He was balling. And he's doing this to these fans who are calling him out of his name. And it was just, as a sports fan, that was one of my favorite things to watch because I got to watch somebody be at the top of their craft and tell the fans, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he did it. And I'm glad that not only did he do it, but after the fact, he went to the podium and said, this is exactly why I did it. Because these fans crossed the line. And I'm not talking about every Boston fan. I'm talking about those select few that want to call me out of my name and call me a P and call me a B and say F you. Because that is not okay. You should not be talking like that to people. Real talk. Because in the streets, that's not how you talking to nobody. Right. If you saw, like I said before, if you saw Kyrie in the streets, if you saw LeBron, KD, any one of them dudes in the streets, I guarantee you're not saying that to their face. And it was just, I'm glad he did that because it was a situation where he stood up for what he believed in. And I'm sure that every athlete and every celebrity appreciated that because he did have to pay for it. Yeah. It wasn't like, I just got to do that and I got off with it. He had to shell out $50,000, you know? But I really do appreciate that he did that because we take this, sometimes people think, I bought a ticket, I can do whatever I want. And that's not true. You still need to treat people like human beings.
Yeah, you don't own the athletes, you don't own the performers. That's wrong.
Absolutely.
That is wrong. I guess we can kind of get into now the whole situation of, we want you, the fans.
Absolutely.
To take in consideration, I will be posting pictures of my dog Duke. He is
Duke. He's a G. Double OG.
He's a exotic blue brindle. And he's a pocket bully. He's worth about 5 G's, and I really want to stud him off.
Absolutely.
That is the objective.
Great looking dog.
I've been looking for a mate for him. I've been finding, it's been really, really hard to find a purebred pocket bully in the area of Illinois, and everything else is out of state. So if you could inquire, that would be amazing. Because like I said, I'm giving stud privileges or trying to inquire in a female. So he is in desperate need. He's about a year and a half old, so he's still fresh. And
he needs some.
He needs some love, man. He needs some love.
He needs a lady in his life.
He needs a lady in his life.
Needs some love.
Unlike ISO, he is unconditionally celibate, not reborn again. He has been like this since he was a puppy. Yeah, man. If anybody can inquire below, that would be amazing. And obviously, money is not necessarily an option, or it's not.
It's
whatever.
Whatever they say.
Yeah, whatever they say. If the puppy's 5, 6 G's, let me know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's an amazing dog. And before we finish, it is time for another Blake Still joke. So, go ahead, buddy.
All right. punchline joke I'm not going to give you. I will share a little story from my life.
Okay.
So, my daughter, she's going to be 3 this year in August, the 21st. Her name is Sadie. I think I've mentioned that once before. She is very smart. She picks up everything. She's in that stage now where she's a parrot. Honestly, she is just ridiculous when it comes to that. I have to watch my mouth all the time. But there's one thing that stands out to me the most. It's a two-parter. So she's so smart that she'll sit there and if something happens, she'll use the cuss words in the right situation. And she'll say, "Oh shit." But then at the same time, she'll say, "Oh darn," afterwards. She's 2 years old. She's going to be 3 years old. She says it in the right situation. She'll say she drops something, some water, she knocks something over, whatever the situation is. She'll say, "Oh shit." But she knows it's okay if she says, "Oh darn," afterwards. Another thing that she does is pretty funny is that, so I had to stop smoking cigarettes when she was born. I didn't have to stop. It was a choice. So I started smoking the Pashas and the electronic cigarettes. And the one thing that made me stop smoking those on a regular basis is the daycare called and let me know that my daughter was trying to get other kids to smoke markers. So after that, I was just like, you know what? This is not going to be a thing anymore. Her mom is not going to tell me that I'm the reason why the daycare is calling while my daughter is trying to hustle markers to other children. So
she's a hustler, just like Papa, huh?
Hey man, you gotta get in where you fit in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, that kicks us off. I just want to share a little bit of that. Everybody, again, thank you so much for the 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 views and counting, and that truly means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for liking, subscribing, even checking out our channel, viewing our channel. Our watch time has gone up. We really hope that you appreciate the content that we're producing as much as we enjoy doing it. And thank you for joining us on A Dose of Reality.
Absolutely.
Stop in next week to get your weekly dose.
Oh, and also, thank you for just putting up with this man's bullshit ass hat. So,
Hey, you know what? It's black and white. I enjoy it. It goes with just about everything. So,
oh my God,
screw you,
this
buddy.
man's hat is fucking trash.
You know, we had it in 2016. We had it in 2016.
Oh,
You're a huge sports
snap.
fan, so you should know this. We had it in 2016.
No,
Maybe it was 100 years, or a little bit more.
I was freestyling down right in front of the arena, and I said the arena, in front of the field, the day that they made the World Series, for sure. Me and G Money and Rel and Vicious. Shout out everybody, because yeah, we were freestyling right in front of there when they made the World Series. So
Hey, it's an important moment. We might never get it again, so you better hold on to that. And as always, I'm Blake Steele. This is my infamous co-host.
Kid ISO.
And thank you for getting your weekly dose. Come join us next week.
Deuces.
Later. Much love.
Stay alive.